once, he's checking it twice.
No, not tonight. But I can, whatever.
All right. We're in session. Please rise for a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have new chairs, so you might have trouble seeing me.
All right.
Roll call.
Counselor Lunt?
Here?
Counselor Fellows?
Here?
Counselor LaRochelle?
Here.
Counselor Keller?
Here.
Counselor Moore?
Here.
Counselor Robichaud?
Here.
Counselor Kane?
Councilor Kane is not here, and I'll take a motion.
Entertain a motion to excuse.
Second.
Council Kane.
All in favor? She is excused. Next item.
Council orders, resolutions, and ordinances, 2023-80, to adopt the school budget and school CIP budget. So
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion
Go ahead, Don.
the motion is to approve the 2023-24 Lisbon School Department School Committee, or school budget for Articles 1 through 7 in the total amount of $19,863,319. Let me say that again, $19,863,319.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I do have a question about the date on this paper, which says May 16th.
That's because we originally thought we could do it on the 16th, but it has to be a special meeting according to our charter.
Do we need to change that before?
No, no, I'll put the correct date on it just as a matter of record.
Okay.
Good point. Anything else? This is a roll call vote?
Yes. Counselor Keller?
Here? Yes.
Thank you. Counselor LaRochelle?
Yes.
Counselor Robichaud?
Yes.
Counselor Fellows?
Yes.
Counselor Lunt?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Aye.
We have 6 yeas and 1 person absent, so order passed. Vote 6-0.
Next item.
The next item is other business, the town manager's report.
So I figured we had this special meeting, I could sneak this in. So last week, the fire department found a suitable vehicle for the Car 1 replacement at Liberty Chevrolet. And we're requesting a sole source exemption under the purchasing policy. Ordering a new vehicle could take over a year with unsecured costs until a VIN is issued. So to avoid delays, I will propose a request to council for authorization of the sole source exemption, allowing the use of the reserve account funds for the immediate purchase. The price at Liberty Chevrolet is $7,000 lower than the competitor due to their bulk purchasing. So the total amount for the sole source exemption would be for $48,387.15. And our fire chief is here to answer any questions if you have any.
I'll make a motion for discussion,
Second.
if you want to vote.
I'd like to, just some clarification maybe.
Yes. So a couple of years ago when we redid the CIP plan, the vehicle was moved from its time, well, a lot of the vehicles were moved from timelines. The engines were at 25 years, brought down to 20. The ladder was brought from 30 down to 25. And my vehicle was brought from a 10-year down to 6. This was under the recommendation of the finance director at the time, who said that after 6 years, that vehicle, under its asset value, was pretty much gone at that point in time. So she said it made no financial sense to keep the vehicle at that point in time. It gives us the opportunity to take that vehicle while it's got not so beat, to be able to either repurpose throughout the town, throughout the department, or for better resale. That's the reason why it was brought up to this point we're at now. Actually, the vehicle was slotted for this current fiscal year, but I pushed it off a year due to prioritizing the pickup truck, which is having frame issues. So now it's at this point. The vehicle in question is it's a 2023. It's on a lot in Massachusetts as we speak, and it's a special service vehicle spec'd out for special service work. They have a couple different versions. One's a pursuit rated version, and one's a special service rated version. For example, the vehicle I'm driving right now is a pursuit police interceptor version, which is a little more than what I need. I don't need a vehicle to go 140 miles an hour, but I need something that has a little more payload than what my current vehicle has. And that's what the point right now.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
my question is not so much that he needs a truck. My question is the bid process that we have or haven't done. I understand what a sole source purchase is, but how do we determine that we need that sole source?
If I have to order a vehicle, like right now, the vehicles that were ordered last year at this time aren't due to hit production until August, from what I was told by the Chevy reps. And the quoted price if I were to order a vehicle when I was doing the budget was between $53,000 to $55,000 for a 2024. This vehicle is significantly cheaper to go this route, and it's readily available.
So this is you'd be using the time factor part of that.
Yeah, because it took a year, and it's in the cost. They're not going to give us a secure pricing until they have a VIN number issued. If anybody's ordered vehicles lately, that's that's been going on. And this one's they're taking about a year for these.
What are we doing with your vehicle?
Hasn't been decided yet. There's a couple of different options. Since we have that ambulance on order, which is 2 years out, one option was to take the EMS equipment out of the fire engine, put it in that vehicle. So we're saving the wear and tear on the rescue truck to get us by until the rescue department gets in 3 years. The other option is to give it to a different town department, or we can sell it.
I know sewer was on one of the lists
Yeah,
for wanting it.
Steve Avioli's been drooling over that vehicle for the past year.
He wants to go 140.
Well, he's using a 2013 police car right now, and they're having some issues with it.
I asked you this when we spoke about it, but we'll get it on the record. How many miles are on this vehicle?
Currently on the odometer, there's 53,000 miles. If you were to do the calculations that the mechanics use for estimated mileage on the motor, they average, I think, like 50 miles per hour. And if you do the math, it comes up to over 100,000 miles on the motor.
What kind of maintenance record is there with it?
Everything goes through Public Works for the maintenance.
Any problems, any issues that you're able to get from A to B?
Yeah, I'm able to get from A to B. I do, like I said, there's the concern with the command console, the radios, and the equipment that I carry, of the rear end of that vehicle being a little overweight. Right now, I'm not blowing through water
Might be
pumps.
an issue in a chase, but you don't chase very often, do you?
No.
Or not at all?
No. But that means it puts extra wear and tear on that rear suspension. But that's the other concern. There's the oversized brakes in that vehicle have to be worked on every year because I don't use them as hard as the patrol officers do. So I'm actually doing more maintenance on the brakes than really needs to be because I don't use them hard enough.
I just don't see the need just because it's time to get a new vehicle if it's working and there's no problems with it.
I would also ask that if we're not going to replace a vehicle that's been approved in the CIP, then why have the CIP?
Well, I mean,
the idea
CIPs are flexible. I mean, they're not set in stone, as you know. So I guess what I'm saying is, why can't we go another year if it's fine, if it's working, if there's no problems with it, instead of spending another $48,000 plus? And I know there's an argument that, well, if we do, we're going to spend more than that when we have to.
The only thing I would add is I don't know if putting it off another. So the funding source for this is a special reserve account just for fire vehicles. So I don't know if there'll be a savings if we wait a year and the prices continue to go up, or if we can only use that money for fire vehicles, it just makes sense to do it now anyway. Is that, I mean, that reserve account just, we can either buy an apparatus or a command vehicle with that account unless we do some sort of budget transfer process.
Where'd
but-
that money come from?
It's been part of a program that was started back in 2004, 2003. Back when they bought the new ladder and engine back in 2003. They started with Chief Brooks, actually developed the program, and he was doing the old dual hat role. It's truck replacement account, and every year the towns were putting money aside for the purchase of fire department vehicles, for the purpose of refurbishment and purchase of. The problem is now that the amount of money there doesn't cover the cost of a fire truck because the prices of fire trucks have gone through the roof. So it's a good fund to use to help refurb and to replace the smaller vehicles.
That reserve account, at last I checked too, I think was just over 300,000 in the reserve account. So, just as an informational background.
Mr. Chair, may I?
Yes.
The, was there money allocated in the account, the regular budget for the replacement, or was it actually figured coming through the account?
Yeah, it's coming through the account.
Um,
So it didn't touch the budget numbers. It's not going to touch the mill rates or anything like that.
The, couple questions. So this isn't an Explorer, this has to be a Tahoe, I would assume.
Yeah, it's a bigger, heavier duty vehicle versus the Explorer.
Yeah, so the price range is quite a bit different than Explorers, because it's about, sounds like it's about another, what, 10 to 11,000 higher than what we're paying for Explorers.
It's actually only $4,000 more than what
We just paid for the last one?
McGee he says he's paying $44 for the Explorers.
Yeah. I know it had gone up, I didn't realize it was that much. The outfitting this unit is going to be different than Explorer. Is all your consoles and everything going to go into this one without?
Here's the interesting thing. Even if I was buy another Explorer, nothing in my vehicle transfers over. Chief Hagan found that out in 2019 when Ford, or 2020, when Ford changed the designs of the Explorers. Nothing is reusable from the older style to the newer style Explorers. So I'd have to buy all new stuff anyway.
Do you actually have that accounted for budget-wise as far as for
It'll all come out of the reserve account for the outfitting of the vehicle.
Is that figured in with the amount that was actually presented, or is that?
Yes. Yeah, when I did my the CIP part of that account reviews for the budget process, I was allotted $71,000 for the entire thing. That included striping and outfitting of the vehicle. It'll come out of that account.
The I'm just as far as the other vehicle, I mean, if it's the right time, we do have a plan there for a reason, but I would have a hard time putting another unit in place. I mean, years ago, we actually just had a lot of, we always made the case that something was old and needed to be replaced, and then we just found a place to use it somewhere else for long term and bought something new, and we just kept stacking on, having a lot of things to maintain. I would think it's a very valuable vehicle. I think it actually has a pretty good value from what I believe we got for a trade-in for our last police car. This is probably worth quite a bit more than that, and it was, I think, well over $10,000. I think Ryan got for his last police cruiser trade-in or something. It was a pretty decent number.
Yeah, used vehicle market's pretty good right now.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that if we're gonna, it's a good valuable piece, and we ought to keep it internally, but we also ought to get rid of something if we keep it internally. So if it goes to sewer, I think that vehicle needs to go away. I'm not sure what he's driving.
They have a 2013 police cruiser that they're currently using.
Is it Explorer?
Yes. It's one of the first Explorers, I think, the 2013s.
Because he definitely doesn't use the brakes any harder than you do. So,
No.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, just a thought.
I think if it does go to the sewer should reimburse the town side since they're separate financially. I think there should be, if it's worth $10,000, the sewer users should pay $10,000 to the town just like any other bidder would.
Doesn't make
Me
sense.
being the sewer user,
Yeah.
You can pay it.
Pay it through your
I gotta
sewer
buy
rates.
it again.
Yeah.
That's right. And then maybe we'll go to a different department a year later.
I've already bought it once. I gotta buy it again.
Yeah.
But you're getting the $10,000 on the town side, so
Yeah.
pay one
Just
way or the
play
other.
with the money over the last.
And this is an odd question, and if I may ask one more question, sir.
Any odd question from you is fine.
What is the life expectancy of this vehicle?
As of right now, it's still looking at 6 years at how Kayla had things laid out. But I have to look at the vehicle and see if it's if we should adjust that.
Is that strictly because of value? Or I understand the theory of depreciation once something's depreciated out, but I mean, the way we are today, I mean, vehicles, I think depreciation factors changed quite a bit in the last couple of years of vehicles because now the average consumer uses it 8 to 10 years
Yep.
on the low side. So, I mean, but again, it's one of those things, it's nice to know going in that, you know, what our expectant time frame is or lifespan would be of it. But
I think if we look at the entire lifespan of a vehicle in a whole versus the lifespan of where it's going to be put in this next assignment. So if we put it into, hey, if we can get 10 years out of it, but it spends so many years with the fire department, so many years with a different department, then out the door it goes. Sort of like for years, you know, Parks and Rec got the hand-me-downs of Public Works. Probably a little too late in the game for some of the trucks I saw, but in the big picture, if we look at it that way, then we say, hey, we'll do 6 to 8 years frontline fire service, and he moves it down to another department, and then out it goes. Instead of keeping it until it's about ready to fall apart and then transferring to a different department.
some of those trucks you were seeing, we bought used from the state after they wore them out, then the Public Works wore them out, then they went to Parks and Rec to wear them out. So they definitely got some use out of them.
Any more discussion? We ready to vote? All those in favor? And I'm opposed.
Order passed, vote 5-1.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I've got.
All right, next item.
To adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Was that a motion?
Yes.
I'll second that then.
All in favor?
Order passed, vote 6-0.
Did you have something to say, Norm, or you just hanging out tonight? All right, perfect. See you next week.
Good night.
It was odd seeing him. I thought he had